Engaged Citizen Corps at Drake. I also have Evan Favreau here with admissions, and we're happy you could join us for this webinar tonight to learn more about the Drake University Engaged Citizen Corps. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to go through some information about the program, and if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, and then we'll also have time for questions at the end of the presentation. But be thinking about what questions you have. And so just to get us started here, I want to tell you a little bit about how the Engaged Citizen Corps came to be. So Drake was one of 3 colleges or universities across the nation that received a grant from the Lumina Foundation to pilot a new service and academic year program for the year 2016-2017. So this current year is our first year, pilot year for the program. It's one of few service programs where the service and the academics and the curriculum are integrated. So it's a pretty unique program in that aspect. Looks like I have a typo there, but members will serve approximately 8 hours a week with a partner agency. So that should read 8 hours, and also take 3 classes together throughout the year, and then kind of a casual seminar just to get together to dialogue, reflect on the experience. And then one of the biggest highlights from this year's program is that all of the Engaged Citizen Corps members live together in a living learning community. So you live in the same residence hall and, generally on the same floor or right around each other, where you are able to kind of live in that community together and support each other. So I'll share a little bit about the requirements to apply. You must be an incoming first year student, must be an American citizen, and that's because this program is partnered with AmeriCorps, which is a national service program that is federally funded. And you must get accepted to Drake University. To earn the scholarship, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes here, you must serve at least 300 hours over the course of the academic year. So again, that's about 8 hours on site each week, and then another 2 hours or so where you're in training, reflection, professional development. So all of those together will add up to about 300 hours. You must, of course, register and pass the required courses, which I'll talk a little bit about those courses too. And then we just expect that ECC members are open to change, knowing that this is a pilot program. We value your feedback. So hope that you do provide feedback and then participate in the selection process for future cohorts. So you have that opportunity to be able to potentially help interview future members and then just provide input on that process. So the schedule in the classes, in the fall, all of the Engaged Citizen Corps members will take their first year seminar course together. That's the FYS. It's called The Common Good. All first year students at Drake take an FYS. This will just be an opportunity for all the Engaged Citizen Corps members to be in that class together. You'll also be able to take 3 to 4 exploratory or major courses. So some of those general education courses, things towards your major. And then, like I mentioned, that ECC seminar class. This is just a 1-credit class where we would get together once, I don't know if it would be weekly or every other week, just to kind of talk about how things are going at your site, how things are connected to the classroom, things like that. And then the 8 to 10 hours of service. So again, that's 8 hours scheduled on site and then another 2 hours of training, professional development. In J-term, which typically first year students are not able to take J-term, that's for sophomores and above. However, we were able to get an exception for members of the Engaged Citizen Corps where they take a J-term online course, so you can do it from home, and it's an information literacy course. And then in the spring, a written communication course that you would all take together. Potentially there would be other students in that class as well, but at least all of the ECC students would take that class together, where you would, learn about various writing techniques, but then also be doing some writing service for your nonprofit that you're partnered with. So you might be doing things like writing newsletter articles, writing web content, interviewing like clients or people at your organization and writing profiles on them. grant applications, so a lot of opportunity to do what we call service writing. And then again, you would have the opportunity to take your 3 to 4 other major courses, exploratory courses, continue with the ECC seminar, and your 8 to 10 hours of service a week. So, a little bit about that schedule. We do encourage students to get involved with other organizations on campus, but since this is a pretty big time commitment, we don't recommend that you get another job while participating in the Engaged Citizen Corps, and to really think about your time availability. So if you're thinking about joining an athletic team or a Greek organization, which also are pretty big time commitments, to really evaluate what your priorities are, and if you feel like you have the time to do all of those things. All right, so the benefits. There's a benefits package of at least $3,000. The first $1,768 or so is a housing scholarship, and that's to be used towards room and board. You'll receive half of that each semester. And then after you complete your 300 hours of service at the end of the term, you would receive about $1,230 in an AmeriCorps Education Award that you can use towards your second year tuition. Of course, you would gain a lot of professional experience, things to add to your resume and portfolio, training and professional development opportunities. Occasionally, there are opportunities for ECC members to attend conferences. This year, several of our students went to the Midwest Service Leaders Conference at another college in Iowa, and so had the opportunity to network and learn from other college students doing this type of work. The opportunity to form relationships with a supportive cohort of students. So automatically coming in, you would be with a cohort of 10 students who are passionate about this type of work, and you have something in common, and you're taking classes together and serving. So, a group of students who you can really get to know on a personal level and rely on and form those relationships with. And then the opportunity to make a difference in the Des Moines community and make connections with nonprofit leaders. So this year we are working with 9 different nonprofits, which I'll share a little bit about, but you'll get to know, a lot of times those supervisors will come into class with us and talk about what's going on at their agencies or do professional development. And so you get to know right there 9 or 10 different nonprofit agencies, and learn a lot about the behind the scenes of a nonprofit, which a lot of people don't have the opportunity to do. What is it like to be an executive director or a communications manager or a volunteer coordinator, and see all the behind the scenes aspects that go into running a nonprofit, which a lot of times we don't think about. We might see people stocking the shelves at a food pantry but don't know where the funding comes from. And so as a first year student, to be able to gain that experience is pretty unique and pretty exciting. So a little bit about why service learning. This is a service learning program. Service learning in general ties real world experience with classroom learning. So you're able to take what you're learning in the classroom out into the real world, get some applicable experience. A statistic that we have heard is that 81% of employers said that an internship or service learning experience helps prepare students for success. So they like to see that on your resume. And you would likely get recommendations from them as well. So, if you have a successful year with your nonprofit, then you might have an executive director of a nonprofit who's willing to serve as a reference for you. Service learning allows students to gain new skills and knowledge and to learn about the community and strategies to work together to make the community stronger. There are many, many ways and strategies to be able to implement to make communities stronger. I mentioned a few of them. It's not necessarily just doing some of that direct service, like handing out food at food pantries or homeless shelters, but applying for money, talking to legislators, doing that advocacy work. Lots of different things where we'll talk about those different strategies to find your fit. Where do you see your strengths to be able to help make the community stronger. So this year's community partners, I will say that our agencies change from year to year. They do represent a wide range of issues. And so you can see the agencies that we're working with this year. Several of them are housing, affordable housing related. We have a food pantry. We have Embark there, works with refugees, the Des Moines Music Coalition, so arts and culture. And then DART is our transportation system here in Des Moines. And so the type of work that our students are doing this year and that next year's students can expect to do would be a mix of hands-on volunteer, that direct service, and then some of that administrative and capacity building type work as well. So that could include anything from recruiting and training volunteers to help build the capacity of the organization to be able to do some of the work that they do, developing marketing materials, working on websites, social media, and newsletters, which also helps you provide some things for your portfolio if you're interested in marketing and different things like that. Doing research and assessment, creating lesson plans and trainings. So we have a couple of members this year who are working with youth, and they're actually able to put together those lesson plans and activities and trainings to do with the youth and lead them for them. And then planning events and securing resources. So you could be planning volunteer events, fundraising events, like I mentioned, writing grants, securing donations. So a lot of the organizations, while they do have certain things that they need done, are also willing to work with the students to find out what your interests are. What do you want to gain more experience in? And to be able to cater the experience to the student that is placed with them. So the application is due March 1st, and if you are interested in seeing the list of questions before you apply, I did put the link there. You can also just go to drake.edu/service learning and then find the Engaged Citizen Corps program there. A lot of times people go through the application and then they realize, oh, I wish I could see all those questions before I start going through that, and that's a way that you can do that. You should also think ahead of time of 2 references who can speak to your work ethic, teamwork, and professionalism. We will be doing Skype interviews on a rolling basis, and then students will be notified of decisions no later than April 3rd. So that's a little bit about the application process and what you can expect from that. We are, asking for things like why you're interested in this program, what type of service work have you done in the past, how do you keep yourself organized on a daily basis? How are you a member of a team? What is your teamwork style and things like that? All right, so that was quick information about the Engaged Citizen Corps program. Other information can be found on our website there as well, but definitely wanted to open up the webinar here for any questions that you have as well. Yes, this program can work with the honors program. I believe we may have one student right now who's in the honors program, but we can work you can do both at the same time. Yes. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Well, oh, I see someone is typing, so I'll just give it a couple more seconds here. Well, if anyone does think of other questions, you're welcome to contact either myself, Amanda Martin, at amanda.martin@drake.edu. My phone number is also listed there. or Renee Sedlacek, the Director of Community Engaged Learning. There is another question here. Is there a specific orientation for this program? There is. All students all in this program, accepted Engaged Citizen Corps members, will be asked to come to the same registration. That's in June. Those dates would be sent out. And then as far as orientation to the program specifically, we do meet during welcome weekend. So when students come to campus for those first couple days before school starts for welcome weekend, we get together as a group to get to know each other a little bit, do some team builders, and then answer any questions about the program. And then we kind of get into the swing of things with the FYS course where we go into more detail about that. All right. So thank you for those questions. If there are no more, you have our contact information, you have the website and the application. Thank you for joining us on this webinar tonight, and we hope to hear from you soon. Have a good night.